Vegetarian diets appear to offer significant benefits for weight reduction. Might the appetite-suppressing hormone GLP-1 have anything to do with that? Let's compare the GLP-1 inducing effects of a meaty meal versus a plant-based one, with the same number of calories, on gastrointestinal hormone responses. We know that the intake of meat, particularly processed meat, is a dietary risk factor for diabetes. Meat intake impairs insulin sensitivity, leads to increased oxidative stress. However, its effect on the secretion of after-meal gut hormones, like GLP-1, has been unclear. So what happens when people either with or without diabetes eat a pork burger with cheese versus a plant-based burger made with couscous and oats? For those with diabetes, there was a doubling of GLP-1 half an hour after the plant-based burger was eaten compared to the meat burger. But if you compare the two meals, although they were matched for calories, they were not matched for macronutrients. The meaty meal had more protein and fat, fewer carbohydrates, and since different macros can affect GLP-1 differently, the difference in GLP-1 secretion may have had more to do with the macros than the meat. OK, so how about using a tofu burger that's macronutrient matched? People with diabetes had significantly higher increase in GLP-1 release after the veggie meal compared to the meat meal, just like in the last study. But if you remember in the last study, the veggie meal only seemed to boost GLP-1 secretion in those with diabetes. Was that because of the macro mismatch as well? There's only one way to find out. A randomized crossover trial tests the effects of two meals matched in calories and macronutrients using the same tofu burger versus a conventional meat burger. And compared to the meat meal, the vegan meal boosted GLP-1 levels by 42% in those with diabetes, and was about just as effective in boosting GLP-1 in those without diabetes. Does that actually translate into improving satiety, though? Yes. A plant-based meal increases gastrointestinal hormones and satiety more than an energy and macronutrient-matched processed meat meal in type 2 diabetic, obese, and healthy men. Satiety was greater in all participants after the vegan meal compared to the meaty one, and since enhancing satiety is one of the major challenges in the dietary treatment of obesity and type 2 diabetes, plant-based meals may be an effective strategy in solving this problem. But does this actually translate into eating less? Researchers had study participants consume a pasta lunch at an all-you-can-eat buffet with either ground plant-based meat versus ground beef, and participants consumed significantly fewer calories of the pasta with the plant-based burger meat. Yet despite eating less, they felt just as satisfied, full, and satiated. But this was unlikely to be a GLP-1 effect, since rather than GLP-1 driving lower food intake appeared to drive lower GLP-1. If you look at the effects of mycoprotein, which make up meat substitutes like corn, made from the mushroom kingdom rather than the plant kingdom, mycoprotein not only shows a decrease in calorie intake at an all-you-can-eat meal, but so suppresses subsequent appetite that there's a decrease in intake over the entire day. When researchers compared it to eating chicken, they saw a significant decreased calorie intake during the mycoprotein meal that was not compensated for later in the day, which led to an average caloric reduction over the whole day by 188 calories. And this was accomplished without altering GLP-1. So GLP-1 may not be the reason plant-based meals tend to be more satiating, or why whole-food plant-based diets apparently achieve greater weight loss than any other diet. Maybe it's because plant-based diets are associated with an improved gut microbiome, increased insulin sensitivity, better metabolism, reduced caloric density. Dietary fiber alone can improve your microbiome and reduce calorie density, and a few types of fiber may be able to also boost GLP-1. I'll cover that next.